Garages everywhere. Mechanics meet, Farkles are wrenched, rides are planned, stories are told, and dreams are hatched. This is our garage. Welcome to Farkle Garage. I'm Kim Rock. Over here, Mr. Harley-Davidson Canadian Motorcycle Hall of Famer Steve Drain, Vancouver Island Safety Council instructor Dar Duncan, and long distance rider Clive Ironbutt Brown. And over my shoulder, Ken Mason and the Farkle Garage Band. On today's show, Steve builds us a pea shooter from the ground up, literally. Pro rider Dar hits the cones with the Vancouver Island Safety Council, and Clive rides down memory lane with Bev and Fanny B. Coming up on this episode of Farkle Garage. Nearly 40 years to start this restoration, and now he finally has his 1929 Harley-Davidson 350 single. Steve brings us a story of a guy who's restoring a bike Steve first saw as a kid. The work's begun, and you'll never guess where the tranny came from. But before we do that, Dar and I rode in this year's Canadian Women's Ride Day, and Steve was there to send the ladies off. Greer Stewart, owner of West Coast Roar, was kind enough to share this awesome ride segment. Check this out.
Good morning, riders. How are you today? Welcome to the Canadian Women's Ride Day. And from what I understand, the ride started in 2013, had about 50 participants at that time. And last year, about 100 participants. And I look out today, and I can see that the ride is gaining momentum, getting bigger, well organized, fantastic.
This is my first big ride. I ride for the wind in my hair. Fantastic energy. And I ride for the freedom. It's a free feeling. Freedom. Yeah. Feeling good. And it's fun. This is the third annual ride. We started off in Cobble Hill, Country Grocer, went down into Cow Bay, into some of the reserve land, some twisties, nice slow ride onto the Lake Cowichan Highway. Beautiful day.
Fresh air, astride your bike, riding in the sunshine and the wind. Wow, what a beautiful day for a ride.
Yeah. And the variety of bikes is incredible. Yeah. All rides for all women.
It was an awesome trip.
And it was great to look forward and backward and see so many of us on the road riding, staggered. It was poetry in motion.
Empowering women.
I'm so proud of what Greer has done to honor us as Canadian women who ride motorcycles. Greer Stewart?
It's the work of many, not one, that organizes and creates a vision like this.
Great Canadian Women's Ride Day, baby!
Wow, it's so amazing to be part of 120 women riders. Canadian Women's Ride Day happens every year on the third Sunday of July. And guys, there's a ride for you too. Hope we see you next year. We'll keep you posted. So Steve, your 1929 Harley, you had to do some digging to find parts.
Yeah, it's true. You know, actually, I didn't do the digging. My friend did. And he was digging in his garden, and he thought he hit what was a rock with his shovel, and it turned out to be a transmission out of an old Harley-Davidson motorcycle. And he brought it into me when I was working in the shop about 30 years ago. And sure enough, the one that came out of the garden was the transmission for the 29.
See, that's what happens when you plant something in the garden and water it. You grow a dirt bike.
That's right.
That's where bikes come from, then.
That's right.
Water it and it will grow.
That's right. Yeah, the old 350 pea shooter with the garden transmission.
That's just amazing.
Unbelievable. So you have a future in archaeology. I wonder what else is buried in that garden. Shovels down. Let's have a look.
My good friend Ray Prince really is Langford's artist on two wheels.
I like restoring them and I like riding them.
His medium, metal and chrome. When you look at a Harley-Davidson, motorcycle frame is like the picture frame, and the engine sticks out. That is the subject. Ray's Garage is his gallery, a collection of relics nearly lost to rust and time. It strikes a chord inside you. To me, it's like a piece of rolling art.
Rock a little bit.
He spent nearly 50 years around ships, but even the Navy couldn't keep this craftsman away from his lifelong obsession.
We'd be going on deployments in the spring. We'd go to the Caribbean for about 3-4 months. Is that gonna work? I'd take 1 or 2 frames on there and do all the body work and everything on them, so when I got back, I was ready to roll. So. And then this would go on here.
Ray's retired now. His garage, his folk soul.
Keeps me entertained and busy through the winter. I'll leave her back.
His latest creation, my 1929 Harley-Davidson 350 pea shooter. 3-speed, right, Ray? Very much a blank canvas. The single-cylinder 3-speed, named for the popping sounds the exhaust makes, sits in stark contrast to Ray's gleaming picture of perfection, his 1923 Harley. A long-retired City of Victoria police bike, wearing its original Harley colors. One of Ray's many love affairs with nostalgia.
It took me about 5 years to restore the bike and another year to restore the sidecar.
2 years longer than Michelangelo's ceiling restoration, I might add. Okay, they're going to be able to save this. I was a teenage mechanic when I first laid eyes on this 350 at a friend's house. I'd never seen one of these, and I marveled at it. It was all apart. Pretty little motor, isn't it?
Yeah.
I asked if he would sell it to me, and he said no. Here it is 40 years later, my phone rings, and now I own it. Next thing you know, I'm sitting there admiring my pile of rust, which was once a gleaming 350 single. One of roughly 100 left in the world. You got a lot of work ahead of you. Ray and I went to work, but replacement parts are tough to find, and the transmission was trashed. But fate would smile again. 40 years ago, I look at this bike, and I end up getting it. 35 years ago, a guy leaves the transmission that fits that bike on my bench, unearthed by a fellow biker and avid gardener. He was digging away with a shovel and clank. He hits this thing and he thinks it's a boulder, and he digs down and here it is, a transmission. He had no idea how it got there, and no other parts were found. Just a transmission buried in a guy's garden. Kind of weird. But I thought one day I'm going to have a use for this. That day finally came.
And you still had all the dirt in it. You could at least power wash it, Steve, or hosed it off.
We took it all apart.
The oil was still in there. There was no rust.
All the gears are good.
And the case was good.
And now we've restored it, and it's in that bike.
What if you broke it?
Nope. Working with Ray is a real privilege.
There we go.
Watching the subject slowly taking shape.
Yeah.
A work of art. But this artist's hands aren't always steady anymore.
Soldering's the worst, I think. You're trying to...
5 years ago, Parkinson's disease began robbing him of a gift rarer than the bikes themselves. Time. Still, he pushes on.
I was right-handed. I just become left-handed.
Doing what he loves.
Eventually, it's going to disable me.
Attitude guides his hands now.
You got to get the best out of every day. I get frustrated, and all of a sudden I'll stop and I'll just regroup and I'll say, Ray, you can do it, and I do it.
Back then, this was the mechanical leading edge. Like to have a motorcycle like this, man, everybody on your block would be envious.
So when you turn the throttle, it turns.
If you don't have guys like Ray Prince restoring them, the stuff will get forgotten about. But not this pea shooter, and not this artist, whose life is preserved in his work. When it's done, I hope to ride with him beside his 23. 2 relics on old Harleys, sharing the gift of time.
Great story. Nice to meet people following their passion in life. So when do you think you'll ever get to ride that pea shooter?
Hey, I'm hoping that Ray's going to have time to work on it in the months coming up, and maybe we'll have it ready for next spring.
Spring?
Yeah.
Are you going to race it, ride it?
Oh, no, we'll just ride it. This would be just a street bike only, not a dirt bike, as the transmission might give way. But no, it'll just be strictly for the road, and look forward to just taking it out to maybe some of the vintage events and stuff like that and showing it off to people.
Cool. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, yeah, it's a real cutie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would that be old enough, Steve, to be like what they call a total loss oiling system? It drops the oil out of the crankcase, or is it actually got an oil?
It actually has a pump on it, but they may not be total loss, but they do lose a lot of oil. They definitely mark their spot, you know, when you're parking them somewhere.
Okay,
so.
character, I think.
Yeah, that's right. If there's no oil under that bike, that means it's empty.
Got it.
Want to see more of Steve's interview with Ray? Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Got a story idea? Send us an email and we'll share it with the world. Anyone can ride a motorcycle straight down the road, but when you need to ride slow and turn tight, that's where people start dropping bikes. After the break, Dar shares with us a group of new riders riding the cones, and the Garage Gang races the slowest race of their lives.
They train over 400 new riders a year.
We work in steps.
Novices start here.
Day 4 for us.
How to get on the motorcycle.
The basics.
Learning about all the controls.
Gotta be confident about it.
Our first day is slow speed riding.
High-speed stuff, accident avoidance.
The Vancouver Island Safety Council, 25 instructors training riders over 35 years. Experienced riders learn to correct bad habits.
Poor lane position is one. Following too close.
New riders learn confidence.
I feel like I had a good amount of knowledge coming in, but you learn a lot more.
I have learned so much.
I feel like I needed the extra training.
I've never been on a bike before this.
All share a common bond.
Freedom.
Yeah, just like total freedom.
The lure of two wheels. The number of riders on the road is increasing. However, ICBC stats suggest that the number of crashes has stayed about the same. Professional training appears to be working.
That was better.
If you know what you're doing and you ride in the proper lane position, you give yourself distance, I don't believe it's really any more dangerous than a car.
But bikes offer little protection in a crash.
What we try to teach is let's not get into that situation where that's going to happen.
The course emphasizes proper riding gear. Instructors prepare riders for ICBC testing and promote ongoing training.
I have other transportation, but this is more fun.
Time to do what I want to do.
Motorcycle training, safety, and confidence at the twist of a throttle.
Go!
My money was on Steve.
Sorry, I let you down.
What the heck?
Just having a bit of a tranny problem or something, you know? Like, I don't know.
What happened there? That was a lot harder than I anticipated. Well, I knew I was going to lose. I'm on the Ducati. But so were you, Claude.
Yeah, so did you get it.
He brought in a ringer bike. He didn't ride his regular bike.
It's the tallest bike in the group.
Yeah, but that was like new. You just bought that, right? You bought that to fix this
a couple
race.
months ago.
Just for this race.
Yeah. You guys.
How many times have you been doing this out in the parking lot?
You guys did air down your tires, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now you're buying the beer.
You're buying the beer.
You're buying the beer.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Vancouver Island Safety Council, DAR. How important is it to ride by learning from professionals as opposed to learning from your buddies?
When you're learning from someone who may have been riding for a long time, they may give you their habits. And instructors, we have no emotional attachment to you. So we're not going to get upset like maybe our significant other might do when we almost get run over and that. So it's extremely important because instructors are trained in the newest techniques and we're continually upgrading. So it's really important to take professional training. Gives you a good solid basis.
Yeah, kind of the foundation. Like anything, you got to get the foundation right.
Yeah.
And then it grows from there.
Because most untrained riders, if they're not getting the foundation, then you see the mistakes out in traffic, and when they're riding, they can't corner, and we all know that riding is about corners and twisties.
My friends from Alberta might disagree, but...
Well, it's kind of flat there, so you got to kind of make your own corners, a little weaving and a bobbing. But it's extremely important to get that really good, strong foundation.
When we come back, Bill Wilborn from Island BMW drops by to talk about this awesome BMW G650 GS. We're talking dual sport and technology. Stay tuned to Farkle Garage. Bill Wilborn from Island BMW. Bill, welcome to Farkle Garage.
Hey, thanks, Kim. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So this bike is built for the best of both worlds, both on and off the road.
Yeah, this is a 650 GS, the BMW, of course. Single cylinder, nice and light, does everything. The commuter, the tourer, the off-road, gravel roads, you know, it does it all. So.
And I got to ride it.
Yeah, I got to ride it, yeah.
I'm just sitting here, Bill. I noticed that it's got an ABS switch. So it's got ABS and you can turn it off for off-road?
Yeah, so it's ABS, what you want on the road, and then switchable ABS off, what you turn off when you're off-road.
Mm-hmm. Do you find more women are buying this style of bike?
No, all riders, you know, experienced riders and new riders, and yeah, it's even gender. This is a factory low chassis, so this one's actually lower than the regular 650 GS, so it does, you know, fit well on most people. So yeah, it's a great bike.
Can you buy all the touring accessories for it, the saddlebags and top box and stuff?
Yeah, BMW luggage racks, the luggage bags that come off. You know, the fuel's under the seat. You see there, so the center of gravity is nice and low. So it's, yeah, easy
to ride.
Yeah, yeah.
How many miles per gallon does it get?
This gets 74 miles per gallon. So
you guys are showing your age.
Yeah.
How many liters per 100 kilometers?
Okay.
Who cares? As fast as it goes.
And you're showing your iron butt.
Yeah. Yeah, 90% of the roads on Vancouver Island are not paved.
I'm missing out big time.
Yeah, so the secondary logging roads is huge here, and that's why the GS series is so popular on the island. It's our #1 seller for sure.
Wow. Okay.
Thanks, Bill. On our next episode, Dar puts this BMW through the paces, learning to ride off-road with advanced rider training on their course outside Duncan. Up next, Clive meets a guy who's owned hundreds of bikes, but to this collector, his favorite isn't the most valuable. It's the one that's dearest to his heart. The one he thought he'd never see again, Fanny B.
Some say that if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, well, it's meant to be. Turns out, Bevan Gore-Langton knows this all too well.
Hey, Clive. Good to see you. Glad to meet you. I'll put a cup of tea on. Come on in.
That'd be great. I brought the scones. A musician, Bev's been a fixture around Victoria most of his life.
Everybody said, music, there's no future in music. And they meant well, but they were wrong.
At 82, Bev admits he's a bit rusty now. Kind of like patina on cherished memories. But his future, he says, turned out well indeed.
Over the years, I've been able to build up a reasonable collection of motorcycles. I love living with them.
Bev's life began on two wheels.
And of course, I would dream about being able to twist a throttle or push a lever.
That dream came true at 15. A gift from his mother.
She bought me a Norman autocycle.
He's owned hundreds of bikes since then, but none dearer than the Fanny B.
It's not really a valuable bike, but it's a treasure to me.
A treasure that shaped who he is. The bike that carried him and lifelong friend David Watson
Good old Dave.
on a wide-eyed adventure across post-war Europe. A treasure lost and found.
Some memories in this box, Bev.
Quite a few memories.
Wow, that's...
Now there's Dave and I leaving Hampstead.
Beginning of the trip.
Bev, Dave and their new 1953 Francis Barnett, Fanny B, left Coventry, England, where she was born.
Everything about it was just right.
They worked their way across Europe. Bev recounted story after story, the time they mistakenly put diesel into Fanny B.
So Dave and I pushed up the hill. We got
racing Germans on the Autobahn.
We get past them, and I had the bike full open. All of a sudden, bang, the spark plug would fall. So I stopped and burned myself. By that time, they'd passed us again.
Being interrogated by German soldiers at gunpoint.
The guy was kind of rough. He almost pulled me off the bike. By that time, they had my bike stripped all over the road.
Bev says they were looking for smugglers, but once they found out the boys were from BC, they let them go.
Saw us off with smiles.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So a happy ending to
A
the story.
very, very happy ending,
It
yes.
sounds to me like Fanny B seems to attract good endings.
It does. It has a personality of some sort. It wouldn't have gone so well without the Barnett.
All too soon, their journey was over.
It took my friend and I all over Europe without any problems at all. You tell me one other motorcycle that would have done that.
Regretfully, when they returned home, the trio split.
You ended up selling the bike.
Yes, well, you see, I thought I needed a car, and I had a girlfriend.
The estranged Fanny B lived near Sydney, BC, almost 35 years before moving to Vancouver. Bev never forgot her.
It's the one closest to my heart, yes.
And then, a chance meeting at the Westwood racetrack in the 90s.
It was just short of 50 years. Something made me stop and turn around. And there was a van driving out and it had a Breath Superior motorcycle and a blue Francis Barnett on it. So I rushed over, tapped on the window. Could I have a quick look at the Barnett? He said, yes. He said, where are you from? I said, Victoria. He said, did you buy the motorcycle new from the factory, tour Europe on it, bring it back and sell it in Sydney in 1954? I said, yes. He said, that's your bike.
Wow. Just like that.
How about that?
Fanny B came back. It was meant to be.
And so we did some trading. I gave him some cash.
Amazingly, she's mostly authentic.
You probably won't believe this. It's still on its original tires.
Bev showed me dozens of bikes that day.
I'm down to about 35, 40 bikes now, I think.
Down to?
Yeah, it's just terrible, terrible.
Most tell the story.
Would that be a magazine from the era? There it is.
There it is.
Look at that.
But Fanny B has a soul.
That takes me back 60 years.
I'll bet.
I think motorcycles are wonderful. Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't matter what those two wheels are.
It doesn't matter what those two wheels. I agree.
But Fanny B's return does matter, for she is a testament to youth.
You know, I get just as much a kick out of it now as I did at that time. It's like a good friend. And of course, it brings back memories of my good friend Dave. And
Two wheels connecting this man to a life well lived.
Such a lovely guy.
Oh, amazing. Bev gave me a new goal in life, that when I hopefully get to his age, that I can have the same passion and love of motorcycles still, and the ability to ride them on a daily basis.
Yeah.
He's a fabulous guy.
I think we're all hoping to get there for long moto life and enjoying the freedom.
Yeah.
Looked like he had a pretty good selection of different motorcycles in his collection there, Clive. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, very, very amazing collection of motorcycles.
I love the piano when he was playing the piano. Like, that was so beautiful.
Yeah, he's talented in many areas.
Yeah.
And a true gentleman.
Yeah.
He's a legitimate, real gentleman.
And just the fact that he found his first moto love, like, that's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, as I've told about the story, just, yeah, right. They say that's just TV land, right?
No.
No, that's real. That actually
that's
happened.
So rare, though.
Yeah, like, yeah, it is hard to believe.
See, when the camera zeroed in on the Fanny B and it said it's on, and Bevan says those are the original tires on that bike.
Yeah,
I mean,
they are the original tires, like right from the factory when they picked it up in the factory. Those are the tires. He said, "Yeah, I patched them a few times."
Yeah, just amazing. You know?
Yeah, wow.
Want to see more of Clive's interview with Bev? Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, got an event? Send us an email. We hope you enjoyed hanging out with us at Farkle Garage. Remember, you don't stop riding because you get old. You get old because you stop riding. Keep the rubber on the road and those Farkles off the pavement. Later, bitches.